Hello and welcome to Let's Bring Them In. My name is Ben DeHart. I'm an up-and-coming marketing rock star.
Hey there, I'm Evan Klein. I'm a former academic economic scholarship winner and marketing whiz.
What's going on, everybody? I am Sir Derek of the Ethics, your knight of all things
and
pod.
we're coming off pretty much hot out of a holiday season, and boy howdy, boys, I am feeling the slog. How about you?
Woo!
Feels great. I'm starting my first day of winter term classes tomorrow, and I've got
boy,
4
howdy.
of them,
Woo!
which is exciting.
What are you taking?
Yes. I am taking classical physics, Greek history, and then advanced inorganic chemistry. Yes, and then the fourth one is it's a senior experience class. Like
Nice.
Well, you're taking my breath away, you cute boy.
Oh,
That's right.
I love that song by Brazil. I think they sing that.
Yeah, that one
Take my
is
breath away.
Africa.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Nice. That's a different country.
My day
bless
was
the
great.
wings.
Thanks for asking.
Oh yeah, Derek.
Yes.
I forgot to
yeah.
ask you about your big burn to start off this off holiday season. Derek, tell me how your break was.
Oh, man. It was good. I mean, it's my first day back to my jobs today, and I squirted myself with grapefruit juice in the eyeball, and I got a haircut. Thanks for noticing, everybody.
Well, I mean, I gotta say, your resolution on the video chat we use is pretty low. So
I know. I mean,
It's not our fault.
So
everybody support us on Patreon. Like, comment, and subscribe to a friend so we can get better
that when we
cameras.
don't have a Patreon.
Yay. Leave a review to tell us to start a Patreon, and we will. On the podcast at Let's Bring Them In. Also follow us on Twitter at Let's Bring Them In, and we have an Instagram as well, and it's also at Let's Bring Them In.
Feel free to, if you have a business you'd like us to rebrand or a question you'd like to ask, feel free to tweet us, slide into those DMs, what have you. But enough jibber jabber. Enough.
Wait, how was your day?
Me? Oh, it was great. I am getting back into the swing of things, prepping for video shoots, crying to myself in my office. You know, the classic get off the holiday horse.
The usual.
What do you guys like? What do you guys like more? New Year's or well, we all celebrate Christmas, but New Year's or Winter Festivus? What's better?
Yeah, I feel like I use up all my holiday sacrifices come Christmas time, so when I get to New Year's, there's not enough blood left to be spilled from my animals.
Yes, I usually have to use my own blood on New Year's.
Which is just a pain. You have to wake up the next morning with a big hangover because of blood loss.
It's true, but it's also kind of cleansing. Like back in the old days, we would used to, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I used to do a little bloodletting just to kind of get like a sickness. If you got a cold coming on, stick a couple leeches on your arms.
Yeah,
you know?
You have to keep the favors. What were the 4 fluids? It was blood, water, black favors, and yellow favors. I believe were the 4 fluids originally thought to be in the human body.
But what about
Feel free to comment.
Unique 5th flavor that was only recently discovered?
Umami?
Yes, it's umami.
Ben, you think we were saying flavors? We are saying favors, but flavors is much better. How many flavors do you think the human body has?
Spicy, sour, umami, savory, and
sweet.
Sweet. I think I got
velvety.
And I think what I love the 5 flavors of the human body, but honestly, I feel like the texture is what really gets my.
You're a texture man.
Yeah,
huh?
I'm more of a texture man. It gets my juices flowing.
Yes.
Yeah. And
it's your umami flowing.
I'm not really sure if I'm delving into cannibalism here or still sticking in the ritual sacrifice thing. But regardless, I think a nice goosebumpy texture really accentuates the 5 flavors.
Humans are essentially just a big lasagna, if you think about it.
I agree. What are the different layers I think that a human has that constitutes a different lasagna? What's our cheesy top?
Well, if I'm thinking, the cheese is definitely dead skin.
For sure.
Because it's kind of flaky. And when you bake a lasagna.
Then the epidermis is the noodle, what is it, rigatoni?
Yeah, I believe you're correct.
What is the flat pasta?
It's
Not
a big
rigatoni.
flat one. What is it
It's not
called?
rigatoni?
I work at an Italian restaurant. I should know
You
this.
should, Derek. You're fired.
Ooh, I can't remember what it's called, but
Get back here, Derek.
and then what's the ricotta cheese? Would you say that's the bone marrow?
I would say that. Are we delving deep enough into the lasagna on pace with the human body, or are we doing one too quickly, one too fast?
We're going like whatever we think is right.
Okay.
Whatever is right.
What's
in
the
our eyes.
red sauce?
It's dead skin, epidermis, and then bone marrow
What's the-
is our lasagna.
Oh, guys, I think I figured out what the red sauce is.
What is
It's
it?
not blood, is it?
No, you silly
Oh, good.
bastard. It's urine.
Oh, like in the kidneys.
Exactly. And if we compare the 5 flavors of the human body to this lasagna, I think you'll find that tracks.
Yo, what if you
Urine's a good
put
flavor.
beans in lasagna?
Well, that's just ridiculous.
Well, yeah, good idea.
However,
Kinda
if we
funny.
did put beans in a lasagna, where would that be on the human body?
The baked beans would be the intestines because they're long and they're kind of scrunchy.
Well, if you made it this far, audience, I appreciate it. We've done a pretty good job of culling you so far.
That's right.
Absolutely. Thank you, Lena. We've done a pretty good job of culling you so far, and I appreciate it. So we had a bit of a thought. We were watching some movies over the holiday weekend because we finally had time. Though, I mean, Evan, we heard that you go to a $5 movie night every week. I'm jealous.
True.
about it.
Yes, I'm a rich money boy.
Evan's going to the movies, Ben's going to the speakeasies,
Mhm.
and I just go to different jobs. Meh.
I saw a movie over the holiday weekend. It was Dick Cheney's Vice. Not Dick Cheney's as in he produced it himself, but it was about Dick Cheney, our old vice president.
It's also
His
the movie
his
is called
advice?
Vice.
Yes.
Oh, Vice, not advice. Oh,
No.
was it
It
good?
was. Go ahead, Ben.
I liked it. Evan, you saw it too, great.
I did. I liked it. I liked the style. I thought it was a little cheesy at times, and I appreciated that. I find Dick Cheney's character to be interesting. Also, a huge Christian Bale fan, so
You're a real
that was
Balehead.
most of it.
Um,
Yeah, a real Balehead. I think we're called Bailers.
Real Baylor.
Yeah.
and let me just bail you out here. As I didn't get it. Already ding.
Nice.
No, I thought it was interesting, the whole concept of the film, because I gotta be honest. Bush is the only president I could remember when I was a child, and I had no idea who Cheney was. Not a
Yep.
freaking clue. Not till he shot a dude in the face.
That's what I was
Yeah.
gonna say.
That's the only concept I had of this man. And the movie really leans into that. It's like, you don't know who this guy is, but he destroyed hundreds of thousands of lives.
Yep.
Well, at least not necessarily American lives, but Iraqi
Did they have
lives.
the hunting accident in the movie?
I think
Yeah.
you could call the Gulf War a hunting accident on a massive scale.
Ooh, spicy. But yes, they had it in there. It was funny because they said the only person who didn't apologize for it was Dick Cheney himself. They did a good job of like painting a picture of him when he was young,
Mhm.
and then as he got older, they like showed how he went bad. I thought it was interesting.
It was one of those things, though. It didn't say like he went bad. He was never great.
No,
Like he's one of those people that had, or at least according to how the movie presents him, it showed him as somebody who didn't really have any values that he personally believed in. He just chose somebody that he admired, in this case Donald Rumsfeld, and used him as his vehicle for power. I thought that was super interesting, and it was done in the style of Big Short. So if you liked Big Short, that's a pretty nice little thing.
Yep. And this was us reviewing movies.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this.
Also, yeah.
How would you rate it?
Oh, right. Before I went to the movie, I had to check reviews to be sure how I would feel about it. And as soon as I walked out,
Yep.
I checked to see if those reviews had changed before I could formulate an opinion.
Excellent. And
Right now, I think they're sitting at around 65% on Rotten Tomatoes, so I am slightly
Yeah.
above ambivalent.
Yeah, I saw that as well. And initially, I was like, you know what? It's a political movie. It probably got trashed by whoever doesn't agree with it. Then I walked out and I was like, you know what? I actually kind of agree with it. It's mostly good, but not really that great.
I thought about where I would give it because I was thinking about it in the shower this morning. I was like, I think those reviews are full of shit because, like, I don't think it was the best movie I've ever seen, but I thought it was really confident. So like if I was to rate it out of 5, I'd give it like a 3, a 3.5, and then I'm like, wait, if I extrapolate that, I think we're right on the money in terms of Rotten Tomatoes.
Yep.
That's right.
Wow.
Oh man, so that shows me what I know.
3 hunting accidents out of 5.
3 human lasagnas out of 5.
Oh, that's better.
That'd be a good addition to the Human Centipede franchise, Human Lasagna.
And let's move right along from that line of thought. As I feel like we shouldn't compromise our viewer base that is currently hanging on by a silver thread.
Hey, speaking of which, our viewer base, please interact with us on Twitter.
We're getting very lonely.
Yes. Anyways, so one thing I enjoyed about Vice, to kind of cap it off, was the whole use of like, it's kind of like an anti-hero as far as Dick Cheney, where he is protagonist, but he's not really that great of a person, and he's kind of power hungry, and one could say that anyone who would be in a situation like that would be power hungry. And if you ask me, the most powerful man in America is probably the Postmaster General.
I couldn't agree more.
Yep.
He controls pretty much everything that reaches us. There's no form of communication besides post. So if we didn't receive our letters in a timely fashion, how would we know if our relatives were ill or sending us inheritances?
True.
Who do you think is really to blame for the Unabomber's his bombings? Would you say it's the Unabomber, mentally unstable, or the Postmaster General, who handles every single package himself before it gets delivered?
Exactly.
Man.
Every package you get in the mail, and you can check this, go out to your front door or order something from Amazon, get that package in, check it, and say, wow, this package has a sticker on it that says personally fondled by the Postmaster General.
Did the Postmaster General get tried with the Unabomber? Did they even
He has diplomatic immunity.
Oh, see, that's something that I didn't know.
Yeah, you're not actually...
But it completely makes sense.
It's one of those offices in the United States where you're actually not allowed to apply for it unless you are an illegal alien.
Oh.
It's like a comptroller.
Exactly. Or an air traffic controller.
or an alderman. All of this to say,
or the president of the United States. Where's your birth certificate, Obama?
How come no one's asking for Trump's birth certificate? This is baloney. All of this to say, Derek, what are we rebranding today?
We are going to talk about fixing the post office.
That's right. Have you been to a post office recently, Derek?
The last time I can confidently say I was at a post office was in college because I needed to buy stamps and nobody sold stamps but the post office. And that was the only time I went in, and that was the only time I spent any amount of time in a post office because they are bad.
Yes, and Ben?
The last time I've been to a post office was probably about 6 months ago because I had to send a package and I figured it was going to be a one-stop shop for me. There's more steps than I anticipated, but the package went out.
True.
Yep. So for me, because I still go to a university, and if I need to ship packages, I have that handled for me. It was to get stamps. So I just got envelopes that were pre-stamped.
Nice.
So what we're finding out is that there's really we go to the post office because there's no other convenient alternative. And I think there's a reason for that, is the post office gets a rap. I won't say a bad rap, because a bad rap makes it sound like it's not earned. But I think there's a few different things that...
It's very true.
There's a few different things that the post office has done, but I won't make you all take my word for it. We're going to go ahead and pull up stuff that the people have to say. Some of the complaints are that the post office is too slow, it's too costly, there's package thieves, it takes a long time to send your packages while you're at the post office, and also, millennials are always there without their mailboxes and
just loitering, vaping. Ugh.
So, what do you guys think about P.O. boxes? Do you think they're for lazy, complacent millennials?
Good question. I think that a P.O. box is actually for the opposite. I think it's for older people who never even had an actual mailbox attached to their home. So they're like, well, I'll just get a mailbox where the mail comes from, and I'll check it from time to time. And now it's getting a resurgence as like, oh, it's the cool thing to do. Like, I don't have an actual physical mailbox. I go to the post office because that's where my mailbox is.
Basically, mainlining mail.
Yep. Oh, absolutely.
One of the main problems I think people have when they go to a post office is the long lines and lack of tellers. Everything just sort of seems to take a long time. Eli C. from New York City, New York says, 1 star. Sloths. Do not come here for passport services. 6 people ahead of you online probably shouldn't surpass an hour wait time. But here it will. Imagine a 30-minute wait per person ahead of you. If you're unwilling to perform sufficiently at your job, please keep your miserable self at home. Eli, scathing review. But maybe we can try to help here.
Too slow. Initial thoughts, Ben, go.
I'd say that I'm curious if this person recently saw the hit Pixar Disney film Zootopia. And is mistaking this one with the DMV. Or at least making a nice, funny little pull and reference to that movie with a delightful message for children.
Yeah.
Maybe. I will say, I think part of the issue with the DMV and the post office is a lot of people go there during like lunch hour for work or go there for work-related things. So they're not in a rush at all. They want to move slowly so that they don't have to go back to work.
Or they go there when they have a limited amount of time, so any amount of waiting is horrible, horrible inconvenience.
Which that adequately describes my experience waiting for anything DMV or post office related. Is normally I have somewhere to be, or the post office or the DMV is the last place I would like to be. So any amount of waiting does feel like a crush on my soul.
Yes. I think that what we could do is make cocaine legal for post office workers.
Oh, for only the post office workers.
Yes.
We started with
only
weed,
them.
so like why not bring it up to the next level?
It is a gateway.
Absolutely.
My big question is, do you think that the businessmen of like the future will decide, look at this loophole and then create a post office for upper class businessmen that they all work at?
Oh.
They'll make an elitist business. You're right. This has too many holes.
And this is the reason I one of the things I think that is a big issue at the post office is this elitist attitude. Sydney B from Los Angeles, California says, I would give a 1 star if I would. She did give a 1 star, but moving on. Worst, you have reached your dream, Sydney. Worst customer service I've ever experienced. I'd been trying to rent a P.O. box there, and every employee treated me like I couldn't afford one. Meanwhile, I see other employees completely ignoring people.
Excuse me.
Avoid. Please. You'll just leave there very unhappy and upset. Oh my God. We've got ourselves a pretty woman situation here
man.
that we can
Absolutely.
Right. Also, we have a situation where someone almost doesn't realize that post offices are not a municipality thing, but instead placed in there by the federal government.
What we don't understand is that what we're not getting across here, I think, is that the federal government only serves the uber rich.
Which is true.
So anyone else will have to enter the slow line. There is currently at the post office an express line for the uber rich that just says, here, we have a dedicated kiosk for you, run by the fastest of government personnel. And then
it's like airports.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you got enough money, you can pay to skip the lines and skip the security and just walk right onto the dang plane and have your free cocktails.
Yep.
But at the P.O. box, it's based on your tax bracket. So you can't splurge. It's just based on what you're worth.
Yeah.
Which is nice when you're worth a lot.
Yeah.
But
when you're not, it's a bummer.
Is there a way?
It's ambition.
Is there a way we can shift this up so people that are lower on the working class don't necessarily feel like they are treated lesser, or even if it's a necessity that the government make sure these people know that they're worth less than their other clientele? Is there a way we can make their weights a little more tolerable? Maybe raise those 1 stars to a nice 2.5, 3.
More games in the lobby.
for games.
Oh, wow. That's a good idea. I didn't think of that.
Perhaps
Just like,
they could engage in games for the entertainment of the uber rich.
yeah, well, see, that's just gonna kill two birds with one stone.
Exactly.
What we
That's
need
right.
to do is we need to make the post office a place where you want to go, not where you have to go.
So the rich people can gamble on poor people fighting. Not necessarily physically, but like in games or playing checkers or chess or numerous other multiplayer games.
Yeah.
They
And
get those big foam swords and they have to fight each other.
American Gladiator style.
Yes, there's a
man.
water pit in the beneath like the
The floor opens up.
Yes, and there's a line and each line is just like a foam platform that you can knock other people off of, and you can get
And if
further
you do,
in
you
line.
get to take their spot.
You get their first spot in
Absolutely.
line.
Exactly.
Are
And if
we
you get-
catering to the strong so that you're going to have some weak poor person who's going to be like, I've been waiting in line for
No,
3 weeks?
because balance is just as important.
That's right.
Yes. Tell me more.
Well,
I'm ready.
The platforms aren't just simple flat foam platforms. They're like exercise balls suspended in the air.
Yes.
So you need to have proper balance. You need to be running, and you need to have a good. So like the live can stay as competitive
Nice.
as the strong.
Good.
Yes. I like this. It's a mental strain as well because you have to know which line is the best to go to.
And an ethical
And then-
strain.
Absolutely. And then depending on your
Good
tax
point.
bracket, there's just like a regular raised platform where while you're waiting in line, you can make bets and cheer on your favorite poorer person.
Exactly. And
And if-
the post
If
office.
you try to go to the wrong line, an electrical shock.
Yep. The post office like worker who's handling your packages can also then double as a bookie.
Hey, take that.
That's true.
Or
Absolutely.
we can have just little bookie kiosks alongside of the line while you're waiting for
Yeah.
your package to be delivered. Either way, it seems like we've got. I think through this, we will raise the mean of the post office's ratings. By the uber rich will love it, and then the less wealthy will upvote if they manage to have a good time. So you're not going to
Absolutely.
prevent those
They'll learn to
one
love
stars. You're not going to prevent those
That's
one
right.
stars, but you can raise the mean.
It's about drowning out noise.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Literally with the water beneath the roaring
Oh,
currents underneath the line.
Is it going to be like
Yes.
a tunnel system where if you fall, it'll take you like through the city, so you have to make your way back to the post office? Like you
Like
get,
the mail shoots.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
man.
everyone loves the mail shoots. That's everyone's dream.
But then it's also like if you do get knocked down, it's like a fun water ride where like, oh yeah, I lost my spot in line, but at least I got to go on this fun little journey.
Exactly.
And you can take your family to the post office.
It becomes a big thing.
This is great.
There's a good way
We're
to
really
keep
onto
some.
something.
So obviously this is becoming a massive attraction. So post office Colosseums will begin to open across the United States. The postmaster general will decide who lives and who dies with a slow low or a slow raise of their respective thumb in these competitive games. What about the hordes of people waiting to send their packages on the outskirts of these Colosseums? What do we do with them?
Ooh.
Create cities and
Okay.
city states.
Absolutely.
I think
So like,
the Great Depression did it best when they created
Yeah.
Hoovervilles.
absolutely.
I definitely agree with any statement that starts with the Great Depression did it best.
So you're saying tell them to bring a tent, set up.
Derek, could you pull up the definition of a Hooverville for those who might be unfamiliar with our nation's great history?
Absolutely. Can you guys vamp for a minute while I pull it up?
Vamping is what I do best.
If you aren't ready to go into the water park yet, go camping as a family.
I think camping
Hey.
is an important way to phrase it, because if we say this is where you have to be, then I don't think it'll be a great idea. Maybe we have them pay for a campsite. So it's a privilege to stay in the newfangled Hooverville, or as we call it, Post Town.
Posty.
Post.
So for everyone who forgot their history, a Hooverville was a shanty town built during the Great Depression by the homeless in the United States of America. They were named after President Herbert Hoover, during the onset of the Great Depression, and he was widely blamed for it, hence why he got the name. It was coined by Charles Michelson, publicity chief of the Democratic National Committee, or DNC, if you're in the know. And there were hundreds of these across the country in the 30s, and hundreds of thousands of people lived in Hoovervilles.
And I think
Wow.
that's a lot to take in. And obviously, this is not exactly the direction or the marketing direction. It's not the optics are
Right.
bad. The optics are very bad on Hoovervilles.
Mm-hmm.
And
Good idea, bad reason.
so I think what we were thinking about calling them is post towns with a nice mascot named Posty.
Mm-hmm. Like the bear Smokey.
And I
Yeah.
think what makes these different than Hoovervilles is they're headed towards an activity. Meanwhile, Hoovervilles, you are in a state of survival and a lack of activity, which I think our
Yeah.
Right.
post towns will avoid.
Post
That's right.
town
Also-
sounds fun.
It does. A post town makes it sound like it's like what's it called? Like postmodernist type ideal.
Yeah.
Or
It's more of
something
an
that's
attraction.
very artsy. Yeah.
Or maybe
Very
like
cool.
or maybe like a post society, like post apocalyptic.
Yeah.
Or
Something
post
like
society,
that.
like removed from it, like, oh, society, everything bad is happening. I'm gonna go live in the post town.
What if we decorate
Yeah.
it like a post-apocalyptic town to sort of add to the amusement ride kind of vibe to it?
Pump in radiation.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, yes.
That'd be cool. What else?
Biker
Oh,
gangs.
Hordes of we
We were talking about earlier with post thieves. We could have kind of like actors that play package thieves. That like when you're getting close to the front, they say, "Hey, no, that's my package." And sort of like as a rush, you have to fight them off. And like, no, this is my family's package.
Does that
Get away from me!
Does that lead you into the competition that is inside of the post office with those platforms, or is this like a pre-ceremony, pre-battle activity where you have to defeat them to even enter the post office itself?
It's like another trial on the hero's journey. So you set out from your home. You've got packages and packages of Christmas presents to send to your family that lives across the country. You get to the post town, and you've got all sorts of trials to go through with the actors who are package thieves. You've got to find a good location so that you've got the best chances of getting into the actual post office, which, side note, we're going to have to make post offices like mondo huge now, because like they're so small right now. We're going to have to make them huge.
These
so it's going to be like the cities will be built
points.
around,
like
absolutely.
a Roman Colosseum.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
And it's only after overcoming the trials of getting to the post town, getting through the post town, still having the post that you want to send, then you get to the Colosseum, the big dance, the climax of your hero's journey. And only then, if you surpass everything, will you actually get to send those packages.
That's right. You've earned the right to send
Yeah.
packages.
Oh, yeah.
And I think so. We've basically solved the issue of the internal problems that the post office has created by making these post colosseums with post villages or post towns outside, and just raising the overall ratings. I think our average will sit at a solid 4.5 stars per post office.
Easy.
Out of 5, yeah.
And to bring those up, to really drown out those negative, those 1 stars from the people that never get out of the constant cycle of fall into the water and then go back to the post town and then fall into the water because they can't learn. They never learn the tricks that they need. We need to up those numbers by making what the package transfer itself seamless and efficient.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I like this.
Okay, here's one. Danny D from Englewood, Florida, 1 star.
Double D.
Would mail out packages for my business. Had tons of them cut open and items were stolen. Had to talk to USPS theft department, and it was caused by an employee that was stealing my shit.
No way.
Some of the people
did a
that
cause.
work there are nice, and some give you attitude. Very shitty post office, one of the worst ones I've ever been to. I wish my P.O. box wasn't there. They suck.
So what you're saying is, we're going to need package security, some sort of insurance to make sure your package gets from your hands to your loved ones without getting torn open and stolen.
Quick note to Danny D from Englewood, Florida. You are a fully naked man playing the piano in your Yelp review.
Uh-oh.
So, you know who you are.
Oh, no.
He is just staring
Okay.
me. He's staring me down. I might cut this out, but it is unbelievable how naked this man is.
That's not good. I think, to get back to addressing thieves, let's hire a Scrooge McGruff character to nip this in the bud.
What does a Scrooge McGruff character you think add to like a sort of like a caravan of packages where you have caravan guards?
Yes, also kind of promoting the whole snitch on your coworkers and get rewarded. Maybe not monetarily, but with not being guilty. And we don't kill you. But Scrooge McGruff
I'm
very
not
much...
the one stealing things. He is over there. I saw him.
Kind of
That's
like
right.
when you would out the Muggleborns in the Ministry of Magic when Voldemort took over.
Yeah, exactly like that. Those were the good people in the movie, remember?
Exactly. I remember Harry Potter specifically saying, thank goodness for bureaucracy sending all those Muggleborns, nay, I'm going to say it, mudbloods, to Azkaban. And Hermione was
right.
like, how could you say this? And Harry said, shut up, you ignorant boob.
It's Harry Potter. Harry Potter called this whole immigration deal that we're going on with right now, as far as sending. I'm not going to keep this going. Never mind.
Well, no, talk
Anyways,
more about Harry Potter's immigration policies.
inside the wizarding
He
world,
really evolved into a nasty conservative.
yes, he did.
Not like a well-reasoned conservative, a nasty conservative.
Quite the evil
the ministry
nationalist.
changes you.
It's one of those things that wasn't actually in the text of the book, but J.K. Rowling decided it was actually in the text of the book after.
Yeah.
If
Oh
you were
my
reading
gosh,
closely
exactly.
enough, you would have noticed.
How did you not notice that A, Dumbledore was gay, and that B, very obviously, Voldemort's just a nationalist, and he hates anyone that isn't from his culture?
Also, Hermione was black with her white hands.
Exactly.
Which is
boy.
that's another one of those things where it's like, who cares if they cast a black person to play Hermione, but don't pretend you wrote her black.
Oh, yes, that would be the worst. Holy cats. Anywho, how do we solve this whole package thief deal?
You're talking about security, I believe.
We were talking about security.
The caravan and people protecting it. So, I mean, look at history. We'll go back to history. Talked about Hoovervilles. When was there a time where there was a caravan of people or things that were being kept safe from other
Trail of
people or
Tears.
things?
Were they being kept safe?
No, this was a misnomer.
No.
But you're on the right track in terms of
It was a caravan.
large scale movement
That's
of
right.
important. I wanted to say a thing, but that is a bad thing for me to
They were
Maybe
people.
important life units.
life units, and I don't think that the post office will be handling life units.
I sure
That
hope
often.
not.
Yeah.
Unless
I will say, when I was younger, I always thought like trafficking, like human trafficking, it was just like they got shipped places. So I was like, oh, the only people that do shipping is the post service. Very wrong. Very, very wrong.
yeah.
Can you imagine?
Oh, man.
Yikes.
Nope. It's on tour buses for people that aren't really musicians.
And it's one of those words that's kind of like hard to nail down exactly what that means. Human trafficking is obviously a terrible problem that affects a lot of people. It itself isn't the clearest word for it, I don't think.
Mm-mm.
It's hard. It is not a simple concept to explain to a 10-year-old.
No, I don't.
No.
I don't think so. And I don't want to spend too much time on it for risk of rolling on the goofs on a serious and not funny
No.
topic.
That's right.
What?
We have really been running into issues with this whole caravan of packages and safety. I think we're dawdling.
We need a team of Batmans.
Batman. Yes.
Batman.
I like
Thank you
Batman.
for cleansing our palate with something
We need-
so uncorruptible as Batman.
Hey, thank you. We need a team of Batmen as Evan so eloquently put it, to keep our packages safe on this package caravan.
Exactly.
I like that.
One thing Batman is known for is leaving his city.
That's right. He's
Fair.
very, very well known
Fair.
for leaving.
Who is somebody that can keep our packages safe? Who does leave Gotham, where we all live?
Nobody. No superhero lives their point of origin.
So maybe we don't need a hero. Maybe we just need someone who is good, morally just, and uncorruptible.
Bring back George Washington.
Let's turn the time clock a little bit, either way forward or way back. We need a hero, and that's going to be either a samurai, a knight, a cowboy, a morally gray pirate. Only if we're doing naval shipments.
True.
And George Washington again, I guess.
Yeah,
Cowboys.
he comes back.
I like Cowboys.
You like cowboys?
I think
They
that's,
come with their own form of transportation
they
usually,
do
right?
horses, and that brings us we could bring back the Pony Express.
One of the best eras in history, if you ask me.
Is that why they called it the Pony Express? Was it a bunch of cowboys on horses riding around?
I don't think that cowboys would associate themselves with the Pony Express, because cowboys rode horses and pony boys attack the
my mistake
attack the
to all our
socias.
cowboy listeners. Yeah.
Right. Sorry, Cowboys.
I'm sorry for talking over that joke.
That was a really good joke,
Yeehaw.
Derek.
Oh, damn it. So,
God damn.
oh, you mean,
we
is that
should-
why they called it the Pony Express?
Go ahead, Ben.
No.
Say it again.
Please do it again.
Is that what? No, it's ruined.
I-
You just read The
No, I can-
Outsiders and then come back to this joke.
No, let me set it up again.
No, you have lost.
So, Pony
Damn
Express. Let's give you know what? Actually, I think we should get the Space Force. Get the Space Force on this.
You know what?
The
Oh.
newly assembled.
We've been thinking real terrestrial here, and I think that's because we've been thinking primal, the primal
True.
needs of people to raise those reviews.
True.
But we can, when we're talking about efficiency, technology is where it's at.
We have drones now, you guys. Amazon has drones.
We have drones and space.
Yes. Let's put all of the packages in a Tesla and put it in space and blow it up, and then have drones pick the packages up and take them where they're supposed to go.
Here it is. We make a
That's cool.
bulbous rod of a spaceship. So, like,
Yeah.
there's a bunch of little circles on the outside, so it looks like it's a ribbed for her pleasure condom. And we
Yes.
fire this into space. On its way down, it fires off those little bulbous balls. So now it looks like it's a ribbed for his pleasure condom. And then all those balls become little drones as they sprout wings. Inside the balls is like a golden snitch of a package, which lands inside or through the roof of its intended target.
Yeah, but only the intended target can open it with their touch.
Exactly.
Right,
Wherever
like a
they
snitch.
first touched the package.
Ben, this is really good. I love how you described it as ribbed for his or her instead of concave or convex. That was cool. This is a good idea, too, because rockets are something that will help grow the economy because they're expensive. And if the post office is buying it, then, it'll have to be raised by the town. So that'll be cool.
And it might
And like you
reignite.
said, snitches have flesh memory, so it's added security, another layer.
Exactly.
It's perfect.
Also, we'll have to do fewer package deliveries because we're cutting down on fossil fuels. So it'll be really cool and more important, and you'll get a lot of packages at once.
Yes. Oh, and maybe it becomes like a big event. Like, so everyone knows when
Like
the
4th of July.
the package rocket is launching. So you order in advance of the packet launcher being sent, package launcher being sent into space. And another thing about this is it might reignite our shuttle program a little bit, or our space program to be, because now this is a government funded space program.
Yep.
The Russians are going to see this and they're going to be like, wow, we need to step it up. So they just make a bigger rocket.
That's right. More ribbed for more pleasure for her more.
And so it becomes a big, like a big dick, like whoever has the biggest dick. And it's like an even bigger space race because no country wants to have the smallest rocket.
Right, and why
That's
limit
right.
it to just the USA and Russia. Like, let's get all of Europe in. Let's get China and Japan and Korea. Let's get Kazakhstan in.
They've
like,
had time to catch
everybody
up.
can get in. That's right. This isn't the 80s anymore, people.
This will be really cool. I'm looking forward to this. And if none of this works, don't go to the post office. You know, there's also UPS. You have options.
Maybe just tell people to come over and get their shit.
Yeah. Oh, I like that better, actually. Or maybe don't send your favorite YouTuber Bitcoin. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that could be done electronically. You could just come over and get some FaceTime with people, everyone. Come on.
Hey, yeah.
That's
We're
right.
getting FaceTime right now. Boom.
That's right.
We are.
2019 is the year of hand-delivered packages.
Mm-hmm. And there's
pretty
going to be a
cool.
lot of hands on those ribbed rockets, too.
That's right.
Oh,
Because
so
of the whole
many
flesh
hands.
memory.
The scientists of our time will rub their hands all over that rocket, and then it will come into space.
That's right. A large explosion.
And it will release its refuse into your home.
I would have said seeds.
Its seeds would have been much better.
Little pods.
One of the things that just to work out the logistics, just so everyone is clear,
Sure.
the government already has all your DNA, so they can just attach bits of your flesh into the seeds, so it only opens based on your touch.
Yeah, with the flesh magic, everyone's thumbprint is already implanted into whatever Apple product they have.
Exactly. So
There you go.
that just sent to the government.
Perfect.
I think we've solved it.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? Derek, what are we going to do to the post office?
Oh, we're going to be billing them.
That's right.
Billing them so hard with our big bulbous rocket.
They brought it on themselves. Oh!
Oh.
Do you guys like King of the Hill?
Jess has been having me watch more and more episodes of those.
Damn it, Bobby.
Funny. I like King of the Hill.
Jerry,
I don't have anything to go off of that. I just like King of the Hill.
well, glad you brought it up on this podcast.
Yep. Hey, feel free to interact with us on Twitter.
Better than
Maybe
dead air.
link your favorite King of the Hill moment at Let's Bring Them In. Also, really can't stress enough. Desperate for interactions. Tweet at us.
Yeah.
Leave us
Heck
a
yeah.
review if you'd like.
I think this is what we
DM
need
us
to
on
do
Instagram.
with the last few minutes of this podcast is live with our audience, think about what we can do to make them interact with us. Because right now, I feel like moaning Myrtle inside of the female's bathroom stall, waiting outside the Chamber of Secrets for some wayward hero to come in and interact with me. And you, the audience member, are that wayward hero. So
That's right. Please don't throw a book through our
Notice me, senpai. Notice
Yes.
me.
head. Oh, have you seen that video?
notice me, senpai. Notice me. That's actually my favorite line from Moaning Myrtle is when she says, "Notice me, senpai. Notice me."
I like.
How do we get people to interact with us? How do we get you, the listener, to want to interact with us? We should rebrand our social media because we just fixed the post office. Let's get you guys into our social media. We want
Let's
you to
double
be
down
with
like a
us.
KFC sandwich and
Oh,
find out how
yeah.
to rebrand our own social media.
Yeah.
So
So
what are we doing
currently-
right now?
Not to ruin the thin veil in between this podcast and our social media. I'm running all social media accounts, Evan Klein. I've done the Twitter. I tweet when we have episodes out. I tweet stupid, benign things sometimes that I think are funny. Other than that, kind of open. I'm willing to shoot the stuff.
So if
our
you
listeners.
think that there's something we could be doing better, it's Evan's fault.
That's right.
And it's also your fault because you've heard these little tags every week for however long you've been listening to the podcast. We've been trying to get you to interact with us, and you're not doing it.
And if this is your first episode, I'm sorry. It's not your fault, but hey, come on.
This is episode like 15 for us, and no one is talking to us on Twitter. We're out here
Let's not act
screaming into the
desperate
void
here.
alone.
I don't need
We've had-
anyone
Oh,
to
yeah.
create good content. I'm my own man.
That's right.
Yeah, Ben's his own man.
Ben is, and then I'm my own man also sometimes. Derek too, I'm sure.
I can learn to be my own man.
We've had one interaction so far on Twitter. Well, I shouldn't say interaction because we get favorites and retweets. We've had one reply, and that was by none other than you know what? Let's mention him. Let's reward good behavior.
Absolutely.
Jordan Salvi. Good job, Jordan Salvi. He replied to a tweet, and at this point, when this podcast comes out, more than just Jordan may have replied to a tweet. But at this point, I would like to reward Jordan. Good job, Jordan. Everyone clap into the mic.
Well, what did he say before we reward him?
All he said was
flamed
who.
us.
Okay, well, he got us good. So the tweet said, I did that thing where I did that thing again where I accidentally poke everyone I've ever known on Facebook. And then he replied with who, and then I replied with Papa John's. So one of your classic
that is a low effort reply, but I will take it. I will take it over nothing. So I appreciate that.
It counts. So
if
everyone,
you think
once again,
you're funnier. If you think you're funnier than Jordan, interact with us on Twitter and prove it.
it's true. He's in the military now, which is answering the question that the troops are getting sexier.
True.
Jordan Selvey is a sexy boy. So his admission into the military is a dire sign that they are increasing their sexy quota.
That's right. Very good on the troops for letting in a sexual man like that.
You know, while we're talking about Twitter and expanding our interactions with everyone, I seem to recall offering a free download code to an audiobook of your choosing that I have recorded if you recommend the podcast to a mere 5 of your friends and show us on Twitter or Instagram at Let's Bring Them In.
Yeah.
And so far, I don't want to say nobody's done it,
hold
but
on. Before you get on them on that, I'm not sure the episode came out already where you actually officially made that thing.
Well,
so let's not
by the time you listen to this, I hope more people have done that.
I want to say one thing about that. I don't want the barrier of entry to be too high. That's a lot of proof that one needs to gather.
So maybe 3? You think 3?
Honestly, I don't know how many codes, so I don't want to get like sloppy with your codes here. But while supplies last, we'll say if you like say you got one person to join to like listen to the podcast, that's enough for me to get a free download code.
Boom. All right.
That is a marketing rock star right there.
While supplies last, absolutely. If you bring a friend to the show and you can somehow prove they subscribed and they're listening and we're big friends now, download code of your choice. DM us for details. I'm at Derek Bryan, Instagram and Twitter.
That's all you got to do. And again, this is why I'm on the podcast. I'm here to bring what the people want. I'm bringing the noise, but just for you, the peeps.
Ooh.
So obviously, jump on that fast if you want the download code. There are a limited supply. I don't know how many Derek has. He probably wants to keep a few on the burner for the true fans.
Yeah, I'll grab a couple, but hey, while supplies last.
All right.
That's right.
Just hit, and that's going to be just DM us on Twitter or something, or tweet at us on Twitter about that.
DM the podcast or DM me myself and tag the podcast in it. Whatever.
Tweet us publicly. That'd be much better for our SEO.
It sure would, actually.
That's right. Yeah. Also, I'm not down with DMs. Just tweet us. I love tweets. Big fan of Twitter. We've said it numerous times. I very much enjoy words. So.
Big tweet guy over here.
Tweet man.
Tweetman.
I think we'll end up having to open up a Facebook page for the podcast too. If that's too much for if that's too much,
it's kind
for
of the dream.
Evan to run, we could always have Derek run that one. A little bit more of like a wholesome, family-oriented facet of the podcast.
Yeah,
We're
you know what?
So follow back.
I'm kind of a loose cannon.
Twitter is our Wild West, and everyone should know that.
True.
Yep.
I feel like Facebook can be our more like public face.
Sure.
Yep.
Sure.
Well, at least our more family face.
Yeah.
Twitter is our The Rock, and Facebook is our Dwayne Johnson.
Exactly.
And
who is our Rocky?
Insta.
Like Rocky and Bullwinkle?
No, Rocky when he was when he
Balboa.
originally came out as like, hey, I am Dwayne Rocky.
Oh, like
back when he had
his
hair.
initial. Oh, I know. Feed. Remember that one?
Oh my
Feed?
God! Only just barely Vine. It has to be Vine.
R.I.P. Vine 2.
All right, Vine indeed. All right, so I think that's gonna do it for us today. Is there anything you guys want to leave off on?
No, I'm dry. I got nothing.
I mean, I've got a comment from a listener who wants to chime in about about the post office, but we don't have to record. It can wait.
Do you really?
Depends on you guys. Yeah, I've got an actual complaint about the post office.
Yeah, let's do one final.
Drop it in here.
All right, this is our one final. This is an audience interaction. If you want to interact with us on social media, we can include what you say on the podcast as long as it's passing with the Night of Ethics. Anyways, so this is from one Sarah Ackerman. She's my girlfriend. When I told her we were talking about the post office, she goes, "Boy, do I have a bone to pick with the old post office."
This might be a scathing review.
Yeah.
Yes.
So her issue with the post office was about stamps, and we touched on stamps a little bit. We more rebranded the full experience of the post office, but what she was really concerned with is stamps being not one uniform size and not one uniform design. Like you can get the regular American flag stamp, or you can get like a holiday Christmas stamp, or you can get a cool Harry Potter stamp. You can get a stamp that's like 1.5 inches long, or just a regular traditional stamp size, but they all cost the same amount. I don't know if you guys knew this. I don't know if the listener knows. To purchase a I don't know, what is it, a reel of stamps?
Roll,
a package,
yeah.
a roll. It's going to be the same amount, and then the stamps can be like for various prices, but like designs completely not part of it, and size completely not important.
What's her bone there? Is she more of like a uniform person, or is she like just doesn't like the complexity?
She's more of like, let's pay the artist for their stamp art. Royalties, yeah. Like if it's gonna be a stamp that's as big as half an envelope, it's gonna have to cost more than a stamp that's the size of your thumb. If it's got a cool, sick ass like rainbow vortex holograph design, you know, it's gonna cost you more than just your typical freedom, American flag,
Black.
liberty stamp.
Now, are you saying this is a thing that currently exists? You can get stamps that are half the size of the envelope.
I would imagine so. I've seen some pretty big stamps working in an office, but they all cost the same amount. And it's just like, if they're going to be cool and different, why wouldn't you just get the cool different ones?
We need to bring the copyright office into the post office here. Like really, Night of Ethics. This is your big deal for you. You need to bring in the copyright.
They need to share an office.
Be like, say, hey, we're going to DMCA the post office. We're not giving royalties to these stamp artists.
So you're thinking royalties? You're thinking we should definitely, like, if you design a stamp, you get to set the price. This is how much my stamps are going for. That's going to also create scarcity for certain designs. Like you're going to have Rembrandt stamps.
Banksy stamps.
Banksy stamps would sell like hotcakes, except for how few there would be.
The moment you try to send your letter, it self-shreds.
Do you think there would be any, like, first of all, how are there not counterfeit stamps right now?
That's a great question.
Right?
Are there?
That's another thing. Like, how do the stamp companies know? I don't know.
Do you think it just gets like a stamp of approval before it...
No, finish. Keep going, Ben. You didn't finish the sentence.
Do you think it gets a stamp of approval before it goes out?
Ben, that's really funny. I think it probably does.
Okay, I've had some real good ones tonight. I'm allowed a couple stinkers. I've had like 2 stinkers per good joke. Well, no,
this is a "What have you done for me lately" podcast, Ben, and that one is just good enough.
Okay.
If you can cut out me talking over all of your banger jokes,
oh, I will.
I'd really appreciate that.
Actually, I won't. I won't.
No.
I'm gonna let you live your shame in a few weeks.
I feel so bad.
All right, Sarah, we're gonna add royalties to help alleviate your concerns about this. We're gonna add specific artists who are gonna create stamps that help. Hopefully, this
let the
alleviates
artists
your
make their art.
That's right.
Cool.
Hey.
Yeah. Anything else?
I think that'll do it. This has been Let's Bring Them In. Thank you so much for listening. I have been Ben DeHart.
I am still Evan Klein.
And as always, this is Sir Derek Bry of the Ethics.
Then we will be billing you.